Hey everybody, this is Geneva of Geneva's Closet Talk Show. How are you doing? It is 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, people. My time, Chicago time, Illinois time. And we are on here. I'm on here so we can talk about this whole Bill Cosby thing. Now, let me say this. Like I said earlier in my other video, I did a lot of work and research on this whole thing. Now, I found it to be very interesting. But what I'm going to try not to do is read to you all everything that I found, but I'm going to try to read to you the most interesting things that I found. Now, I could have easily pre-recorded this, but I don't think it would have been easier. I think it'd probably be easier just for me to read it this way. And then because of the different things that I'm talking about, I didn't want to take a chance on pre-recording it and sticking videos and stuff in here. You know, the information the videos that I would like for you all to see from CNN and other things, and then they doing, me having some copyright issues, them flagging or doing whatever. I didn't want to be bothered with that. So make sure you follow me on Facebook at Geneva's Closet, because all the information that I'll be talking about today, the links to the articles that I'm reading or any specific videos that I found that helps me with my research, then I'll be posting that on Geneva's Closet Facebook page. Okay, now let me just go over some things, because like I said, this is a lot. I almost feel like I'm doing a damn project. Like I'm at school and I done research to do a project, and now I'm sitting up here and I have to present it. And it's a lot. So I'm happy it's not a school project. But I do want to say this. They said Bill Cosby's PR people said that he's paid spent 10 to 15 million dollars for this whole case starting in the past 2 years. So since last year, he done spent 10 to 15 million dollars on this whole case thing. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but Andrea, well, first let me say this, that the statute of limitations for this whole rape thing in the state of Philadelphia, because we have to remember that this is where Andrea Constand is saying that these things occurred. She said it occurred in Philadelphia. Well, the statute of limitations in Philadelphia is 12 years. Now, it's different from state to state. Some places is 5 years. Some, they don't even have a limitation. You can go at any time. But for Philadelphia, it is 12 years. But what I found interesting is that Andrea Constand claimed, okay, that Bill Cosby raped her in January of 2004. Okay, January of 2004, which means that January of 2016 would have made 12 years, which would have been too much time because nobody had done anything. But guess what date? Guess what date, people? They decided to file charges against Bill Cosby. December 30th, 2015. So about 2 weeks before the statute of limitations came up, they made sure to go in there and file their charges against Bill Cosby. Now, okay, now let me give you a little background on Andrea, okay? Andrea, she is from Toronto, Canada, and she was a basketball player. She played basketball there in Toronto, and then she played in the States at Arizona. She wanted to be in the WNBA, but for whatever reason, that didn't happen. So she ended up going to Temple University. And Temple University is actually where Bill Cosby was at, because that's his school out there in Philadelphia. Now, Constand worked as a director of basketball operations at the time, where her job functions included booking hotels, arranging travel, and overseeing other stuff while the team traveled away for their games. Now, Andrea met Bill Cosby in about 2000, I would say 2000, but we can say about 2000, 2001 is when they met. And even Bill Cosby confirmed that, and I'll read to you what he said. Now, when they met, they actually had a relationship. So before this whole 2004, January of 2004 incident that she's saying that happened, they had a relationship for that whole time. She was going over to his house in Philadelphia. They were going out to eat. She was spending time with him, sneaking in his back door to his home. So they had a relationship. They had exchanged gifts. You know, she had bought him, I think, some cashmere sweaters. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'll read that. He bought her some things. She bought him some things. And get this, people, even after she alleged, now this was before she had even went to the police and said anything about he raped her, okay? So Andrea Constand is saying that Bill Cosby raped her January of 2004. But people, literally a few weeks later, probably not even a month later, on Valentine's Day, she was contacting Bill Cosby, and then at least probably 50 times from the time that she said that he did this to her in January of 2004, she was still keeping in contact with him. She had called him at least 50 times. People, they had went out to eat in March of 2004. They went to a Chinese food restaurant. She said that he raped her in January of 2004. But in February 2004, you're calling him on Valentine's Day. In March of 2004, y'all are going to eat at the Chinese food restaurant. Let the record show, people. And then Bill Cosby, I guess, gave her tickets. And I guess he was doing the show in Canada, Toronto, whatever. She invited her. She took her parents, her mother and her father, to the show to see Bill Cosby. They were all sitting there talking and conversating. Bill Cosby was there too. Let the record show that the Bill Cosby was there too. Okay. And then let me go back to my timeline. And then in April 2004, she moves back to Toronto, but she's still keeping in contact with Bill. Okay. And then even after that, Bill gave her tickets again. She had tickets again to one of his shows at a resort or something, if I'm not mistaken, in Canada. Okay. Now, this time, Andrea's mother, I think her name is Gianna Constand, she had bought Bill Cosby a sweater, put it in a gift bag and stuff for him. The plan was that the mom and the dad was going to see him again, just like how they had done before. They was all going to sit there and chit chat. But for whatever reason, Bill Cosby stood them up and he didn't show up. Now, this was in April. No, this was in August of 2004. That's when the family was supposed to go and see him, and then he ended up standing them up. And then, so that was in August, September, October, November, December, January. 5 months later, all of a sudden, Constand is claiming, or her mother is claiming, that she looked at her daughter and said, "Daughter, what's wrong with you?" And because she could tell something was seriously wrong with the daughter, and the daughter said, "Bill Cosby raped me." And then that's where this whole drama thing kind of starts from. But then, even after that, now this was in January 2005, January 13th, that she went to the Durham police there in Toronto because her brother-in-law was a detective in Toronto, Canada. So they called the brother-in-law and then went to the police station, the Durham police station. And that's when she gave her first, statements on what she claimed happened. Now, before I even go all into that, because I'm trying to give y'all a little bit, let the record show again that in 2006, Bill Cosby paid her. Bill Cosby paid her 3.4, I think 3.34, 3.38. We're going to round it up and say $3.4 million he paid her. And when he paid her and he said what he said, when everyone is saying that Bill Cosby admitted to rape, he admitted to giving Quaaludes to young women for the purpose of sex. When he gave all of these statements, he gave those statements for a reason, and it was supposed to be sealed. His lawyers said that they wanted it sealed. He paid her money. It was supposed to be done. Now, I don't believe that Bill Cosby paid her money because he felt like he had done wrong or he had really raped her, gave her drugs and raped her. I feel like he paid her because he had an image to uphold. I mean, come on, people. We all know that we never really looked at him as Bill Cosby. We always looked at him as Heathcliff Huxtable, the family man, the husband, just the best at it all. And I think that he knows that we all felt that way about him, and he didn't want his image messed up. So what do celebrity people do? When they out there doing wrong in their celebrity world, and then they get caught up, You know, how do they try to handle that situation? I'm pretty sure they try to handle it with their lawyers in secrecy. And if they have to pay somebody off, do whatever they have to do to keep people quiet, to not mess up their image, that's what they do. And that's what Bill Cosby did. So the first thing that I'm going to read to you is I'm going to read to you Andrea Constand's statements, her inconsistencies that she gave when she went to all three police stations, because she actually went to three police stations, people. She went on January 14th, because remember, January 13th is when she's claiming that she told her mom, you know, oh my God, Bill Cosby raped me. Okay. So January 14th is when she spoke to the Durham police. Okay. And that was in Canada. And then January 19th, just 4 days later, she drove out to Philadelphia. And then she spoke to the, am I saying that right? She spoke to the Cheltenham Township Police Department. That is actually in the area that Bill Cosby stayed in, because they say the Cheltenham, if I'm even saying that right, the Cheltenham estate, that was, you know, where his estate was at. And then on January 22nd, what, 3 days later, she gave a statement to the Montgomery County detectives. So this is 3 different times, which, you know, is only a matter of days that she's giving her statement about an incident that she said occurred January of 2004, but now it is January 2005. It's a year later, okay? So this is saying, so I'm gonna read it to you. It says, do you recognize the name Margot Jackson? And just remember the Margot Jackson, because some of these names you will hear again. And this is what the Assistant District Attorney Feeden, we're gonna look, the names might not be right, but some of the names doesn't really even matter. Asked Andrea Constand, the chief accuser of comedian Bill Cosby. I recognize the name, Constand replied, contradicting her previous testimony at last year's trial, where she testified that she had never heard the name Margot Jackson. Okay. Now, this is when the trial is, you know, when she giving a statement. Now, this is at the trial. Okay. You mentioned that you remember rooming alone. Do you ever remember rooming with her, Margot, when the basketball team was traveling? No, Constance said firmly. When you made travel arrangements, it was Dawn Staley who ultimately had the list and approved who stayed where and who stayed with who. Is that accurate? And she said, yes, it is. So he said, it wasn't you. And she said, no. Okay, cool. Now it says last year, Constand provided, and this is written by YC in April 15th of 2018. Okay. It says last year, Constand provided approximately 5 contradicting statements, which ultimately led to the jury not being able to render a unanimous verdict, triggering a mistrial. Because remember, just in April, wait, was it in April? Where's my paper at? Remember, it was just, I have it written down somewhere. It was just in, it was in June, because the case went from June 15th to 17th of June 17 of 17 last year, is the mistrial. So there was a mistrial for a reason, I guess, because of Andrea inconsistencies. This year, Constand added several accounts to what allegedly occurred in Cosby's Cheltenham estate in 2004. Okay, here we go now. I actually enjoyed reading this. I found this to be very interesting, reading exactly what happened in court, especially when Bill Cosby's lawyer started questioning her. Bill Cosby lead defense attorney Tom Mesereau, I hope I'm saying that right, conducted the cross-examination of Constand and is set to continue his, okay, whatever. Good afternoon, Miss Constand, Mesereau said, as he started his cross-examination against Andrea, who alleges Bill Cosby drugged and, you know, sexually assaulted her in his home in 2004. Miss Constand, my name is Tom Mesereau, and I'm here to speak for Mr. Cosby, okay? If anything I say is not clear or you don't understand the questions, please tell me. I'll try to rephrase it, okay? Mesereau continued. Please don't answer anything you don't completely understand, okay? Bam, here we go. Now, this is about her January 14th, 2005 statements that she gave to the Canada Durham police, okay? Mesereau provided Constand with a copy of a police report she filed with the Durham Regional Police Service in 2005. Have you seen that document before? Yes. When did you last see this document? I don't recall. Though it was a focal point during the previous trial in 2017, she said that she didn't recall. Have you been questioned about this document in a relevant proceedings? Taking a pause? What's relevant proceedings? Constand asks. Well, I'll rephrase that. Have you been questioned about this document before in your lawsuits against Mr. Cosby? I don't believe I was. Have you been questioned? No, I don't believe I was. Not that I can recall right now. Constand told him again, forgetting she was on trial 9 months ago where this report was used to prove inconsistencies. Okay. You don't recall being questioned about the police report you made to the Durham? Mesereau said, Constand cutting him off, changing her answer to, oh, yes, I'm sorry. Okay, Mesereau said, the answer is yes, Constand pointed out again. Did you tell the Canadian police that Cosby inflicted possible intercourse on you? No, I didn't, she replied. So they made a mistake there. Is that true? Mesereau asked. I can't speak for them, sir, she replied. It says possible intercourse, but you didn't say that, correct? Mesereau asked again. No, I didn't, Constand replied. So it would appear that it's not what you told them that they wrote down, correct? Mesereau said, that's right, Constand answered. Okay. Look further down. Did you tell them you were a casual acquaintance of Bill Cosby? He asked. I don't remember saying that, Constand confidently said. So they appear to be their words, not your words, correct? Again, pausing for a few seconds before replying, correct. Let's look at the narrative. Do you see that? Mesereau asked. Feeden objected. So the other lawyer objected, saying the report wasn't substantiated. Mesereau then asking Feeden, what do you mean it's not substantial, whatever. Let's look at the narrative. Okay, wait a minute. Then the judge overruled. Did you tell the police that the character Cliff Huxtable on the long-running comedy show, the Cosby Show, had assaulted you? Mesereau asked. Feeden standing up to object. Your Honor, before Judge O'Neill cut her off again, stating he can ask that question and she could say no, so overrule. So, no, I didn't say that, she answered. So, if that appeared on a report, that would be incorrect, right? I never said those words, she replied. Did you introduce yourself to Cosby? I was introduced to Mr. Cosby, she told Mesereau. So if the police in Canada wrote down you introduced yourself to Cosby, that would be incorrect. She said, correct. Did you ever tell the police you would dine at restaurants with Cosby periodically? Mesereau asked. Well, I told them the truth. That was the truth, Constand said. Did you periodically go to restaurants with Bill Cosby? Mesereau followed up. Not alone, sir, but a couple of occasions, yes. What restaurants did you go to? I don't know the name of the one in New York City, but the other one was a Chinese restaurant somewhere in downtown Philadelphia. So two, Constand said. Now, prior to the assault, did you tell the police that you had never been alone with Mr. Cosby? Mesereau asked. Where is that? Is that written down? Constand asked. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down, Mesereau pointed out. Did you tell the police in Canada that prior to the assault, you had never been alone with Mr. Cosby? Constand, following along with her original police report, replied, I'm not sure. Well, if they wrote down that you told them you had never been alone with them prior to the assault, would that be correct? If I did, then I would be mistaken, she replied. Did Mr. Cosby give you perfume? Mesereau asked. Yes, he did, she replied. Did you take it? Yes, she replied. Did he buy you 3 cashmere sweaters? He did, she replied. Did you take them? Yes, she replied. If you told police in Canada that you had communications with Mr. Cosby following the assault were rare and brief, that would be incorrect, right? Mesereau asked. Constand, knowing now that the defense had her original police report given to the Durham police in Canada, Montgomery County detectives, and Cheltenham police, her lawsuit against Bill Cosby in 2005, and her previous testimony in 2017. Before them, she starts stuttering. That would be pausing for about 10 seconds, then continuing. I with a brief pause again. It would be, I did speak with him. Yes, that's the answer. Constand finally replied. Does it sound right that you called him over 50 times after you say you were assaulted? Does that sound correct? Mesereau asked. Several times, sir, Andrea continued. I'm not sure exactly how many. Well, you called him repeatedly after it happened, did you not? I can't say for certain. We're going to go through the phone records, Mesereau told her before asking, do you remember calling him twice on Valentine's Day after you say you were assaulted? I don't remember that at all, Constand answered, matching 2017 testimony when Cosby's former attorney gave her a similar line of questioning. Okay, we'll go through the phone records with you, Mesereau added. Did you have dinner with Mr. Cosby at a Chinese restaurant after you were assaulted? He asked. No, she replied. After you say you were assaulted, you had dinner with him at a Chinese restaurant, correct? Constand, not sure how to word the answer, told Mesereau. I was mistaken, sir. That was not the evening of the incident. We'll get to that, Mesereau said. After you say you were assaulted, you had dinner at a Chinese food restaurant, correct? Mesereau asked again. I'm confused, Constance said, as George looked over at her, also confused. Did you have dinner at a Chinese restaurant with Mr. Cosby after you said you were assaulted? He asked for the third time, and she answered no. Not that following March, Mesereau asked, hinting he was basing his question off of one of her previous testimonies. The dinner was in March, Constance said, pausing again. I'm confused. I'm really sorry. Could you repeat the question? Yes, yes. Yes, Mesereau said, before repeating the question for the fourth time, you certainly had dinner with him at a Chinese restaurant in March and then went back to his house, correct? Rephrasing this so Constance could understand it better. No, that didn't happen, Constance said. Mesereau quickly replied, you did, and repeated it in a softer tone. You did. Yes, I did, Constance said, repeating it for a second time. Yes, I did. So you went back to the house of the person who had assaulted you to talk to him alone, correct? Mesereau replied, I did. I wanted to know what he gave me and why he did that to me, Constance told him. And after you arranged to have your family go to a concert with him, correct? Did you after that you arranged to have your family go to a concert with him, correct? Oh, yes, she told him. Did you tell the police the complainant advised the incident was a significant factor for her resignation? Mesereau asked. I may have. mention it because to some degree it was very painful. It was a very painful incident, Constand told him, but testified several times prior to that the night she was assaulted, she had visited Bill Cosby's house to tell him she was planning to resign to get a job at a massage as a massage therapist. But you went to see Mr. Cosby the night you said you were assaulted to say you were resigning, correct? Yes, Constand replied. Now now he's questioning her about her statements that she made January 19th, 2005 to the Cheltenham Township Police Department. Mesereau provided Constand with a copy of her second police report filed just days after the first one to compare the two statements given. Miss Constand, I've given you a document that's titled Cheltenham Police Department Investigation and Interview Report. Do you see that? Yes, she told him. And this suggests that you interviewed with the Cheltenham Township Police Department on January 19th, 2005, correct? Yes, Constand replied. So this would have been a few days after you spoke to the Durham police, right? That's right. Okay. Did you tell the Cheltenham, I sure hope I'm saying that right, police on January 19, 2005 that the date of the alleged incident may have been March 16, 2004? Yes, sir, Constand replied. Now, why did the dates change from January 2004 to March 2004 in a few days? Mesereau asked, comparing the statement she gave to the Durham Regional Police just a few days prior to her statement that she gave to the Cheltenham Police. Like, what was it, people? Like 3 days, 2 days later, you forgot from January to March? And she replies, because I was mistaken on the night of the Chinese food and the actual night of the incident. Well, the night of the Chinese dinner was apparently March 16th, right? That's right, Constand replied. That's the night you said you went back to his house, correct? I did go back to his house, correct? Why did you get that confused? Mesereau asked. I was just trying to recall, whenever I met with the police, I was just trying to recall an enormous amount of information, and I was very nervous, and I was trying to piece it together. Why didn't knowing when you had dinner at a Chinese restaurant affect when you would believe the assault occurred? Mesereau asked. It was a time knowing when I had seen Mr. Cosby, but I forgot it was the time I had confronted him. I actually went to his home to confront him that evening. Didn't you tell the jury you had nothing to eat before you went to his house and you were assaulted? Mesereau asked. I was on an empty stomach, sir. I had little to no food in my stomach when I went to see Mr. Cosby that night. But if that's true, why did you think the night you had dinner at a Chinese food restaurant was the night of the assault? Mesereau asked. It was just confusion on my part, sir. I indicated that I was mistaken, just a little confusion, Constand said. Did you tell Cheltenham police you had been to Mr. Cosby's home 3 to 4 times and that the visits were always business related? I may have, yes, Constand replied, but all your visits with Mr. Cosby were not just business related, correct? They were business related and personal, Constand replied. Okay. You told the police attorneys you had contacted in Philadelphia, correct? Mesereau asked. I did, Constand said. You called them before you called the police in Durham. That's pretty dang on interesting. Don't you know, like how when you watch a movie for the second time, you catch something that you didn't catch the first time, you catch it the second time? I'm just now catching that. He asked her, you told the police attorneys you had contacted in Philadelphia, correct? And she said, I did. You called them before the police in Durham. So before she called the police in Canada, in Toronto, where she was at, she called the Philadelphia police. And she said, that's right. Was this the first time you had ever tried to hire a lawyer? Yes, Constand replied. Mesereau, in a loud, distinguished tone, asked, ma'am, you hired a lawyer to try and get immigration status in America, didn't you? I believe that was many years later, Constand replied. Later? Mesereau asked. Yes, Constand told him. Or was it during the years at Temple? He followed up. No, Temple had an immigration advisor I had dealt with, and they did all the paperwork, Constand told him. And you told the Cheltenham police you don't have money, correct? Mesereau asked. Constand stuttered. I don't it's it's just says I don't have money. I would be putting it on my visa, and I don't know what that's in regards to. I'm just asking if you said that to them, Mesereau replied. I don't know, sir. I don't know what it's in regard to or why I would say that. Mm. I find, okay, wait a minute. When was this article written? This was in, so this, because they so this is the current case that he got found guilty on. And is he currently saying that she don't have any money? This, she got paid 3.4 million. So is she saying that all her money was gone? Did she spend all of that money? In 10 years, in 12 years, 26, he paid her in 2006. So in 10 years, you spent all your money, boo? Anyway, now she's being questioned. Now Bill Cosby's attorney is questioning her about her third police statement that she gave to the Montgomery County detectives January 22nd, 2005. Did you tell Montgomery County detectives your responsibilities at Temple University were to organize travel, gain promotions, and you had travel with them, correct? Correct, Constand said, contradicting what she told prosecutors earlier that day when she testified that she was not responsible for travel arrangements, which she did say that because I read that already. Now moving to the next page. If you looked at the next to the last question, it says, under what circumstances did you leave the university? Do you see that? Yes. Did you tell the police you wanted a change in my life? I thought it was dead. It was a dead end position for me. I knew a different path was on my horizon. Yes, I said that, Constand said. According to this interview, you never mentioned Mr. Cosby was a reason for you leaving the university, correct? Correct, Constand said. After your second visit, you drove all the way to Connecticut to see him, meaning Bill Cosby, on another occasion, correct? Correct, Constand said. When you drove to Connecticut, did you think he had any physical interest in you? Mesereau said. No, I did not, she replied. You knew he was married, correct? Yes, Constand replied in a more quiet tone than before. Twice you drove to his house and went in through the back door, correct? That's right, she told him. Now you're driving to Connecticut to be in the hotel where he's staying, correct? Yes. You checked into your room, correct? That's right. You went and had dinner with him and another person in his room, correct? That's right. You went back to your room, correct? That's right. Then went up to his room, correct? Yes. Did you think there would be any interest by him towards you when you went up to his room for a second time? No. Get this, people. Get this. She said, no. I went up for a pastry he was offering me, Constand said. Referring to the baked goods she told prosecutors he had promised her. Lord. So you didn't think when you went up, he, Bill Cosby, would have any physical interest in you? He asked again. No, Constance said. And in the hotel room, you laid in his bed, correct? Mesereau asked. I didn't lay in his bed, sir, Constance said, contradicting several other reports. Your Honor, I would like to read to the jury sworn testimony from Miss Constance referring to her previous testimony. Do you remember being questioned in your lawsuit about Mr. Cosby in 2005? Yes, I do. You were asked the question, did you lay in a bed with him in a hotel room? And you said yes, right? Right, Constant replied as jurors looked back and forth. So at first she didn't lay in the bed with him. She didn't even think that he had any physical interest in her. She had just went up there to go get a pastry because he had promised her some baked goods. You know what I mean? But then he asked her, did you lay in the bed with him? She said no. But once he started throwing out, well, do you remember what you had said? Then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, right. You right. Thank you, Mesereau said, showing jurors that she had lied under oath, either in her lawsuit against Bill Cosby, where she asked for over $3 million, or on the stand before them. Now, you testified under oath in your deposition that you had always taken the position that the assault occurred in January 2004, right? That's right, Constance said. That was false, correct? No, that's true, she said. You had told the police in Pennsylvania it happened in March, correct? I did before, but I told them I was mistaken. Now, to come up with the March date, didn't you secretly record someone in Philadelphia? Assistant District Attorney Fedden again objected to his question. Judge O'Neill overruled the objection. She can answer that. We did not speak with Marilyn Gordon, Constance said. No, we did speak with Marilyn Gordon, Constance said. And who is she? Mesereau asked. I don't remember, Constance replied. Wasn't she a counselor at Central High School in Philadelphia? Refreshing her recollection. Maybe, yes, Constance said. Why did you secretly record her? I'm not sure, actually. I don't remember that conversation specifically as I sit here. But I was trying to figure out the date when the incident happened, sir, Constance replied. How did you think secretly recording Mrs. Gordon will help you come up with the date of the alleged assault? Mesereau asked. I didn't push the button. I didn't even really know, sir. I didn't do the recording. My mother did. Her mother is pretty huge in this whole case. We may not have heard of her mother, but you will. I guess my question is, you told the jury repeatedly that you didn't have any dinner before the alleged assault, right? I said I did not have much food in my stomach, yes. So why are you recording Mrs. Gordon to try and figure out what the date of the assault is? Mesereau asked again. I don't know, Constance said, because you had a big dinner at a Chinese food restaurant with Mrs. Gordon, correct? Mesereau asked. Yes, sir. As I think I stated before, I think I was mistaken, Constance said. Did you tell Mrs. Gordon she was being recorded? With the objection from the prosecution, Judge O'Neill overruled the objection, telling Constance to answer the question. Did you tell Mrs. Gordon you were recording her? I'm not sure. Why did you think recording Mrs. Gordon, a counselor at Central High School in Philadelphia, will help you remember when the assault occurred? Fedden object again. Judge overruled. She had to answer, and she said, because she was in attendance at that dinner, at the Chinese food dinner, Constance said. But you said you didn't eat anything before the assault, correct? I didn't, Constant. Wait, she paused. She said, I didn't. I didn't. I I didn't eat anything. That's right. I stated that. But I was just confused and mistaken, sir. I was very nervous but and I knew it had occurred and Constant continued confused. I was eventually able to determine it happened in early January. It was simply trying to piece a lot of events together. Before the alleged assault had you had any physical contact with Mr. Cosby as of an intimate nature? No, Constant replied. Your Honor, Mesereau told Judge O'Neill, at this point, I would like to show the witness another point in her sworn deposition, if I may. Judge O'Neill allowed it. Miss Constand, I asked you, did you have any physical contact with Mr. Cosby of an intimate nature before the alleged assault? And what is your answer? My answer is no. Mesereau reading from an excerpt, reading from a statement Constand gave during a sworn testimony at her civil suit against Bill Cosby when she sued him for that money that she got in 2006. The question was, did you have any physical contact with Mr. Cosby before the alleged assault? Answer, physical contact. Question, of an intimate nature. Her answer was yes. Okay? How many times did you visit Mr. Cosby at his home? 4. Constant confidently answered. It's probably about the first thing she done answered with confidence during this whole thing. So there would be the first time where he put his hands on your thigh, correct? Correct. So then there's the second time where you say he unbuttoned and tried to unzip your pants, correct? No, that's the second time, Constant answered. What time was that? Mesereau asked. The fourth? She told him. That was the fourth time, he asked again? Right. Mesereau replied, pardon me. Second time is when restaurant people, wait a minute, pardon me. Second time is when restaurant people are there, correct? Yes. Third time is when representatives of Swarthmore College and University of Pennsylvania representatives were there, correct? Correct. Fourth time is when you're alone with him and he tries to unbutton or unzip your pants, right? That's right. Okay, Mesereau smirked. Then you're saying the fifth time is when you were assaulted, correct? Does that sound right? He continued. That's correct. Sixth time is when you go back after the Chinese dinner in March, correct? That's right. Okay, Mesereau replied. And in between, you went to Foxwood Casino, right? That's right. And you had 2 trips to New York, correct? That's correct. Did y'all know all of this stuff was going on? Now, in all of these visits to Mr. Cosby, either in New York, his house, Connecticut, did you ever see his wife? No, I never saw her. Did you ever ask him where she was? No, she said in a quiet voice. Did you care? It was none of my business, Constance said in a very soft tone voice. So those are the inconsistencies in her. Didn't she have a lot of inconsistencies? She was all over the place. She was all over the place, people. But let me tell you what Bill Cosby said. Don't you want to know what Bill said? Let me see, what time is it? Because I don't want to be, because I'm telling you people, I think this may have to be a part 2. I think in order for me to get to the whole NBC and everything else, I think I may have to do a part 2. But this is excerpts from Cosby's 2005-2006 Quaalude deposition. Don't we want to know what he said? They said Cosby admitted to everything. Don't you want to know exactly what he said, how he said it, whatever he said? Well, let's figure out what he said, okay? In his testimony, Cosby describes giving drugs and alcohol to women before sex, making secret payments to ex-lovers, and hosting Constand at his home in 2004. Cosby had become a friend and a mentor after meeting Constand at Temple University, where he was a trustee and she managed the women's basketball team. The following exchanges between Cosby and Constand lawyer Dolores Trioni, who cares? Dolores, took place in 2005, 2006. Okay. A few things have been taken out of it, so it's not so much repetition and squabbling, they said. Okay. It says, when did you first develop a romantic interest in Andrea? Now, these are questions for Bill Cosby, okay? His answer, probably the first time I saw her at Temple Arena. Can you tell me what you recall of the night in which you gave Andrea the pills? I don't know. Is that the one that I wanted to read first? Because I could have put my papers out of whatever. I'm going to read this first. Can you tell me what you recall the first night you gave the pills to Andrea? Andrea came to my house. I called her. We talked about Temple University. We talked about her position. And then I went upstairs and I got 3 pills. I brought them down. They are equivalent of 1.5. The reason why I gave them and offered them to Andrea, which she took after examining them, was because she was talking about stress. Cosby describes a several-minute sexual encounter that followed. So you're not telling us that you verbally asked her for permission. I didn't say it verbally. The action is my hand on her midriff, which is skin. I'm not lifting any clothing up. This is, I don't remember fully. You know what? Let me read this again. She says, so you're not telling us that you verbally asked for permission. Okay. He said, I didn't say it verbally. I said, the action is my hand on her midriff, which is skin. I'm not lifting any clothing up. This is, I don't remember fully what it is, but it's there and I can feel. I got her skin and it's just above the hand and it's just above where you go under the pants. Then what happens? I don't hear her say anything and I don't feel her say anything. And so I continue and I go into the area that is somewhere between permission and rejection. I am not stopped. The lawyer, Dolores, asked Cosby about a phone call a year later between Cosby and Constand's mother, Gianni Constand, who told him something was wrong with her daughter, who was also on the line. Here go the question. What was the thing that you did not, what is the thing that you did not want to talk about? I didn't want to talk about what did you give her? Why? Because we're over the telephone and I'm not sending anything over the mail and I'm not giving away anything. Why didn't you simply tell her that you had given her daughter an over-the-counter drug called Benadryl? I'm not going to argue with somebody's mother who is accusing me of something. And then when I apologize, she says to me, that's all I wanted to know, Bill. Am I apologizing because I'm thinking this is a dirty old man with the young girl? He said, and I'm apologizing because I'm thinking this is a dirty old man with the young girl. I apologize. I said to her mother, it was a digital penetration. When she sat here and cried constant during her deposition, how did you feel? I think Andrea is a liar, and I know she's a liar because I was there. Now he's talking on the Quaaludes. Cosby testified that he had gotten Quaaludes from his doctor in Los Angeles in the 1970s. He said he was given seven prescriptions for the now banned drug. Okay. Why didn't you ever take the Quaaludes? Because I don't use them. Why didn't you ever take the Quaaludes? Because I used them. For what? The same as a person would say, have a drink. You gave them to other people? Yes. Did you believe at the time that it was illegal for you to dispense those drugs? Yes. How did the doctor know that you didn't plan to use them? What was happening at the time was that Quaaludes happened to be the drug that kids, young people were using to party with. And there were times when I wanted to have them just in case. When you got the Quaaludes, was it in your mind that you were going to use these Quaaludes for young women that you wanted to have sex with? Yes, because we've actually heard that one. Cosby acknowledges having a sexual relationship with accuser Teresi, Serengis, Pharisee, I don't even know, starting around 1976 when she was 19. This lady, who has gone public with her accusations, has said for the first time she met Cosby at a Las Vegas hotel in 1976. What the hell? 76, 86, 96, 76, 86, 96, 2006, 2016. This is 42 years later, and at the time she was 19. Really, bitch? Okay. Did you give her Quaaludes? Yes. What effect did the Quaaludes have on her? She became, in those days, what was called high. She said that she believed she was not in the position to consent to intercourse after you gave her the drugs. Do you believe that is correct? I don't know. How many years ago are we talking about? 1976? I meet Miss Pickens in Las Vegas. She meets me backstage. I give her Quaaludes. We have sex. Why didn't you ever take them yourself? I get sleepy. How would you know that if you never took them? Quaaludes happen to be a depressant. I have had surgery, and while being given pills that block the nervous system, in particular the areas of muscles, the back, I found that I get sleepy and I want to stay awake. He don't want to be asleep during his sex. He want to be wide. He don't want to be had none. He want to know exactly what's going on. Is that why you don't drink alcohol? Exactly. Now on other accusers. Now Dolores is asking Bill about other accusers. Cosby says that while he was filming one of his sitcoms, an agency would send 5 or 6 models to his studio each week. He says he would give the struggling young actresses a very, very good meal. This man is something else. He describes a sexual encounter he had with one of them in 2000. Here go the question. She says that just days after she told you that she did not drink, you told her to come over to your townhouse and served her amaretto. Do you recall serving her amaretto or whatever that drink is called? No. That you told her to sit next to you on the couch and that you would put your arm around her and begin massaging her shoulder and arms suggestively. Did that occur? This occurred sometime after you met her parents. I need clarification on time. That was his answer. She's 17, and I believe throughout the time she knows you, she becomes 18 or 19. On a later occasion, you had her masturbate you with lotion. Did that ever happen? Yes. She used the lotion to rub your penis and make you ejaculate? Bingo. Bill Cosby said bingo. He didn't say yes, he didn't say exactly. He said bingo. That's why I said he was very honest, extremely honest. Okay, people? Then they says Cosby is also asked about a young actress who filed a complaint with New York police that never led to charges. She is named in the deposition, but has not gone public with her account and has not returned messages, blah, blah, blah. Do you recall saying that you had threatened to sue the National Enquirer for printing her story? Yes. Do you remember how old she was when she worked on the television show? About 19. Did you ever develop a romantic relationship with her? Yes. I called her, talked to her. What did you talk about? I believe this has been a long time. Her twin sister, her brother, their education. What did you tell her was the reason why you were inviting her into the townhouse? Her career. On the 19-year-old's second visit, this is the answer. He said, I fed her dinner, gave her 3 drinks. We then went to the living room. We went through acting, elementary moves. We then went to the sofa. We laid down together. I was behind her. Was she lying down or sitting up? No, she was down. Did she fall asleep? Yes. What did you do when she fell asleep? I got up. Did you engage in any type of sexual contact with her while you were on the couch? No. Are you aware that the woman's statement was that on the night of dinner at your New York townhouse, at some point Cosby and a woman were sitting on a sofa and Cosby were massaging her back? Yes. Cosby then lowered his pants in an effort to receive oral sex. In an effort to receive oral sex? That did not happen. The woman rebuffed Cosby's advances and was immediately sent home, driven by Cosby's driver. And that is not true. So that was the question. The question was, the woman rebuffed Cosby's advances and was immediately sent home, driven by Cosby's driver. And that is not true, he answered. Now, this is on Secret Tabloids, Trust, and Mrs. Cosby. Cosby is asked about educational trust he offered Constand and others through his foundation or otherwise. How would you send money to Constand? It would come through our writing a check. And our being who? The family. Would your wife know about that? My wife would not know it because Andrea and I had sex, and that Andrea was now very, very upset, and that she decided she would like to go to school or whatever. How would you explain to your wife that you were giving this personally as opposed to using the foundation? I would say to her that there is a person I would like to help. So this is what Bill Cosby is saying. So when Bill Cosby is giving money to women, Andrea, his wife knows, but he's not telling his wife why he's really giving her the money. He's telling her that it's for educational purposes, that he's just, he's trying to help these people. And now the woman is asking him about I don't know why I feel like her name is Therese, whatever. Cosby acknowledges the money would flow through his representatives at the William Morris Agency. So was the purpose of that to disguise? Yes. I have to finish my question. Was to disguise that you were paying money to this woman? Yes. Who were you preventing from knowing that? Mrs. Cosby. Cosby is asked by Constand's lawyer about granting an exclusive interview to the National Enquirer in 2005 in exchange for the tabloid agreeing not to publish a story about accuser Beth Ferrier, who has gone public as another accuser attached to Constand's lawsuit. What is your understanding of the agreement that you had with the National Enquirer? I would give them an exclusive story, my words. What would they give you in return? They would not print Beth's story. Did you ever think that if Beth Ferrier's story was printed in the National Enquirer, that would make the public believe that maybe Andrea Constand was also telling the truth? Exactly. So that you knew when your article was printed that you had to make the public believe that Andrea was not telling the truth. Yes. He was just being honest, which makes sense. I mean, why would you want that story to come out? Why would you want the people to know about that, especially if people are already hearing about Andrea, because then it may actually mean that you're a rapist. This is Bill Cosby. Oh my God. This one was pretty interesting. It says, and I got this from the New York Times. It was written July 18th, 2005. It says he was not seducing a young model. He was not above seducing a young model by showcasing interest in her father's cancer. He promised other women his mentorship and career advice before pushing them for sex acts. And he tried to use financial sleight as of hand to help keep his wife from finding out about his serial cheating. People, Bill Cosby admitted to all of this and more over 4 days of intense questioning 10 years ago at a Philadelphia hotel. Even as Mr. Cosby denied he was a sexual predator who assaulted many women, he presented himself in the deposition as an unapologetic cavalier playboy, someone who used a combination of fame, apparent concern, and powerful sedatives in a calculated pursuit of young women, a profile at odds with the popular image he so long enjoyed, that of father figure and public moralist. There's no point in me reading that one. We're going to go to this one. I want to read to you about Constance, Andrea's mom. Here go Andrea's mom right here. That's her. And her name is Gianna Constant. Now, Andrea has a boyfriend, had an ex-boyfriend, and his name is Robert Russell. And here go a picture of Robert Russell right here. It's a white guy. There go Robert Russell right there from Toronto. He had a lot to say. I mean, Robert Russell, a close friend of Andrea Constant, broke his silence after 18 years about the ghost and the Constant family background. So this is a little background on who exactly is this woman. Andrea Constant is the lone Cosby accuser. We already know that. What they have done is disgraceful, Russell told us. I'll never forget when she told me she liked to see all niggers gathered together and killed. That is genocide. She spoke like Adolf Hitler. I realized what I was getting involved in and got out of it like a bat out of hell. That family was dark, and I don't want anything to do with them. Okay. Lead attorney Tom Mesereau says his team had unearthed an old pal of Andrea Constant, Robert Russell, to bring out the ghost in Andrea's and Gianni's, the mother's, if that's how you say her name, past. Yet, Judge O'Neill blocked the lawyers from introducing the tales of drug use, greed, racism that included a deep hatred for African Americans. I'll say that again. Yet Judge Stephen O'Neill blocked the lawyers from introducing that to the jurors about the tales of drug use, because Andrea said that she didn't even do drugs. You know, like she didn't even do drugs. Oh my God, he gave me these pills. Oh my God. And then the greed, this whole money situation, and racism that included a deep hatred for African Americans, a hatred so deep and dark, he claims Andrea's mother, Gianni Constant, wanted to see all niggers gathered up and killed. However, Judge O'Neill wouldn't allow it after prosecutors argued it would taint the jurors' perspective on who the Constants were so much that it could poison their minds and likely change the outcome. Yeah, because that might be motive on why she's doing these things or why she's coming out saying this, especially literally 12 years after you originally said he assaulted you, 10 years after you were paid. You come back. She came back. So there might be motive. That's why Bill Cosby attorneys wanted to present that. But it was some conspiracy, some lies, some shystiness going on in this case. Russell, who started to say he was more than a close friend of Constance before he was cut off by an objection, took the stand for a mere 5 minutes to testify that while he knew her in Canada in 2001, she was pursuing a career in broadcast journalism. That's it. Based on what Bill Cosby's PR people said, that they were only the judge only allowed Robert Russell to say that Andrea was in broadcast journalism. That's it. 5 minutes. He couldn't say anything else. Totally blocked him from talking. Why didn't he come out earlier? He did. Russell came out during Constand's initial complaint about Bill Cosby, but police didn't want to hear any of what he had to say. So Russell reached out to Cosby's former legal team, led by Philadelphia-based lawyer Brian McMongle. These names are something else. Who interviewed him and got a statement. The defense didn't call him to testify after Judge O'Neill denied the motion to have Margot Jackson testify at the comedian's trial in June 2017 on the grounds Constand denied knowing her. In the retrial, Constand changed her testimony. Don't you remember when I was reading Constand's stuff, and then at the beginning asked her about a Margot Jackson? Did she know a Margot? And she said she didn't know a Margot. Well, at the retrial, Constand changed her testimony and testified that she did know Margot Jackson, who was then brought in to testify, stating Andrea Constand told her she could set up a celebrity, but the police didn't follow up with her as it would not help their case against the comedian. Of course they did not. But this lady, Margot Jackson, who worked with Constand when she worked at Temple University, because remember, she helped to manage the girl basketball team. Well, Margot was part of that too. She traveled with them too. They stayed in the hotel rooms together. She recalled them watching TV and them seeing something about somebody popping some pills and winning a lawsuit or something. And then Andrea being like, oh, I can do that. Or that happened to me, being assaulted. And she was like, oh, you need to report that. And then her making the comment that it never happened to her, but she could set up a celebrity. And so she wanted to give that. But of course, the police didn't want her to talk because it's not going to help them. That's not going to help that side. It's going to help Bill Cosby's side. They didn't want to help Bill Cosby's side. They wanted to put Bill Cosby in jail. This whole thing was a setup, people. Was a setup. So she despised Black people. The mother, Andrea's mother. She didn't want any Black men or women in her house. Russell sat down with our investigative team and provided the testimony. Judge Stephen O'Neill barred from the Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele thought it would impact jurors by painting a negative picture of Andrea Constand and her background. Y'all will hear that name too, this attorney Kevin Steele, because this attorney Kevin Steele and the judge is pretty important in this case. Okay, let's go to the next part. It says, Bruce Castor opened an investigation on Bill Cosby for reports of powerful Black man sexually assaulting a white woman. After a lengthy investigation, he found Constand wasn't credible. Now, Bruce, I'm gonna read this again. Bruce Castor opened an investigation on Bill Cosby for reports of a powerful Black man sexually assaulting a white woman. After a lengthy investigation, he found Constand wasn't credible, given her extreme contradictions on what happened, when it happened, and why it happened. The prosecution entrusted this case on a family who, according to the source, made it clear they despise Black men and wanted revenge on Black people after their daughter lost her boyfriend to a Black man, to a Black woman. Now, who are we talking about this time? She didn't like that, Russell told us, referring to Gianna Constand, Andrea's mother. She, Andrea, would do anything to please her parents. Constand allegedly had a brief relationship with NBA star Steve Nash. Andrea Constand had a relationship with an NBA star, Steve Nash. Now, the mother was pissed when she found out Steve Nash stopped talking to her daughter and left her daughter for a Black woman. So this is what Russell is saying. A lot of this hate and this hate for black people and stuff came from. And here goes Steve Nash. Can you see it? Can you see it? And there go the black girl. I don't know how good you can see that. I'll be posting these things on Facebook. I'll be posting it on Facebook. So it says she didn't like that, okay? And they had a brief relationship, and it was cut short after he was photographed with a black woman who Andrea's mother referred to as a bimbo compared to her daughter. Kevin Steele spoke about it 2015. Kevin Steele was running for district attorney. Here goes this Kevin Steele man. Kevin Steele, remember the attorney for the other side, the district attorney? Kevin Steele was running for the district attorney against Bruce Castor. Now, remember, Bruce Castor is the one who said that he did a lengthy investigation and he didn't see any reason to charge Bill Cosby. Now, this is back when in 2005 when Andrea was going and, she had went out and told the Bill Cosby had raped her and did all of this stuff. So, Bruce Castor had basically told Andrea that he could not file any criminal charges against Bill Cosby, but if she wanted to, she could do a civil case. But she didn't have enough evidence, and then plus Bill Cosby had brought the Benadryl because Bill Cosby said that he did not give her Quaaludes. So Bill Cosby never admitted to giving Andrea Quaaludes. Bill Cosby said he gave her Benadryl. That's what he said he gave her, Benadryl. So when Bill Cosby came in to do his statements and things like that, he brought in the Benadryl. So Bruce Castor said he didn't see anything. But now this Kevin Steele man is running for district attorney against Bruce Castor. So if Kevin Steele wants to boot Bruce Castor out of there, he has to let it be known that he's going to come in and fight against Bill Cosby. He's going to pick this case up, pick it up from where Bruce Castor did nothing. You did nothing to get this black man, where I'm going to come in there and get it, because guess who ended up being the district attorney? Kevin Steele. You just heard me say his name. Okay, so and the Dolores lady, Andrea Constand's attorney, she reopened the criminal investigation against Bill Cosby, an opportunity to make national headlines and most likely boost his publicity locally. So the 2015 Cosby files go missing. Bill Cosby has some files to go missing, people. So let's hear about this. Still reached out, Kevin Steele, the new district attorney, reached out to Constand's family through their civil attorney, who filed a $3.4 million lawsuit against Cosby, Dolores, asking if he can have a copy of Bill Cosby's file with the intention of reopening the investigation. Steele and Dolores met in July 2015, just a few months before Constand would file a civil suit against Bill. So they met in July 2015. They met in July 2015, but in July 2014, but in 2014, Andrea was doing tweets about this case. She was doing tweets talking about that, it's not done yet. It's not out of people's minds. She want to bring it back up. And I think she was already meeting some people or meeting some women about this. But then I guess, again, that would all make sense. Still competitor Bruce Castor. So basically, what they took was their own file back. I believe I gave them the depositions. I don't think I gave them some investigative things that we had done. Troji testified in federal court. I did not keep a log of what I gave them, but basically it was my impression that what had occurred was that their police reports was not in the possession of the DA from 10 years ago. Then the criminal investigation was reopened. Andrea's mother, according to the sources, wasn't pleased with the decision not to prosecute Cosby because she's a hardened racist. Gianna Constand told Russell in 2001, after Steve Nash was photographed with the black woman, that she looked like a bimbo, and enraged that Nash chose her over Andrea. From his time spent at the Constance household and time staying over for a few nights at a time, he said he believes her mother orchestrated the entire thing, as Andrea didn't have the intelligence to do this on her own. You know what? I think I kind of believe that. You know, some of the things that she did, I don't think that she had the intelligence to do it on her own. I really think her mother got irritated because Bill Cosby did not meet them for that second time when they were supposed to have the dinner, and they went to one of his shows, and she had bought him a sweater or something and put it in the bag, and she was so excited. And when he, put them off or whatever, I think they probably made her feel a certain type of way. And maybe in her mind, she was thinking, oh, hell no, this is not going to be another Nash. Not another Nash, and then leave my daughter, and then we send up here bootied out. And then that's when they did try to do criminal charges, but Bruce Castor didn't see anything where it should be criminal charges. And then and then that's when they did the civil suit, and then got the 3.4 million. Justice Steele vowed to reopen the case. The Constance filed a federal lawsuit days before the election ended. Constance filed a federal lawsuit days before the election ended, dropping a bomb on Bruce Castor's campaign, painting him as an incompetent district attorney who refused to prosecute Bill Cosby. Steele used that to his advantage and received $164,783 for television ads criticizing Bruce Castor. The ads were miraculously produced and edited and distributed to several television networks in under 5 days. It isn't possible for someone to create such a commercial, edit it, cut clips, film it, and distribute it in a time period like that. A former reality producer from Magical Elves, an Emmy Award-winning production company behind acclaimed hits such as Cold Justice, Project Greenlight, Time of Death, Top Shelf, and many more. So this is what he is saying. Something like that takes weeks. You have to budget it, film it, edit it, and negotiate airtime deals with networks. No way you could do that in a week or even 2 weeks. Did Steele work with Gianni Constand, Andrea Constand, and their civil lawyer to use Cosby as a campaign tactic? That's up to the public to figure out. And you are the public, people. You are the public. Okay? But it isn't physically possible to run ads with a few days' notice. The same day the suit was filed, Steele's ad spending for television commercials went up to 171.1%. Steele, days after communicating with the Constance through their attorney in 2015, received nearly $200,000 in his campaign fund from his brother in Florida. Oh, people were happy, man. When he said that he was going to work with the family and they were going to get Bill Cosby, people was giving him money. Like, go, get Bruce Castor out of there. Bruce didn't even do anything. He didn't even try to take Bill Cosby down. Get him up out of there. So they were already talking to the mama and the daddy. And they said days before the election ended, he dropped a bomb on Bruce Castor's campaign, painting him as incompetent and refused to prosecute Bill Cosby. Wow. So that means that they were already working on that, people. They had already been working on that. What does this have to do with Cosby and his charges? Though, when all said and done, one could possibly assume that Steele worked alongside the Constand family with the civil suit against Castor, whether he was directly or indirectly involved, there is no evidence to prove that. However, Steele likely won the election based on the negative publicity Castor received following the federal lawsuit days before residents cast their votes in return, cast their votes, and in return, charges were filed against Cosby. Let me read that again. Whether he was directly or indirectly involved, there was no evidence to prove that. However, Steele likely won the election based on the negative publicity Castor received following the federal lawsuit days before residents cast their votes, and in return, charges were filed against Cosby. If Constand lost her lawsuit against Castor, the countersuit from Castor, and violated the confidentiality agreement, she could be left with a mountain of financial woes if Cosby was found not guilty, as she would lose both suits with former district attorney Bruce Castor and would likely have to return the $3.4 million for violating the confidentiality agreement. The stakes were high. You know what? She did violate the confidentiality agreement because that case was sealed. That's why I'm saying, Steve Harvey, you better tread lightly, because all they have to do is not give a damn anymore about you. And you think that your lawyers and the judges and the Collins County and the Texas, and they'll get paid off by the white people, and you'll be sitting up there ass out. Man, you better tread lightly, because at this point in time, they seem not to really give a damn about you, because all of these lawsuits and stuff, if they really wanted to hide that, they could have hid it, and we don't know anything about it. But yet and still, all of this stuff keep popping out. Steve better tread lightly. He better tread lightly. So the mother is a hardcore racist, and she didn't like Bill. You know, they just wanted to profit off of Bill. They seriously wanted to profit off of Bill. And Andrea's mom said that if she ever saw her daughter in an interracial relationship, she would stop her if she couldn't if she would stop her, and if she couldn't, she make something up. It all goes back to her very first boyfriend. It all goes back to Steve Nash. And that's what Russell was saying. Don't be fooled, Russell told us. Gianna Constant isn't just Andrea's mother. She represents the entire Montgomery County District Attorney's Office and Judge O'Neill, as they barred any testimony that would have hurt her reputation to jurors, including her hatred and anger towards Black people. This all goes back to the first boyfriend. He said, hands down. He keep mentioning that. He said, hands down. It goes back to the boyfriend. What is he saying? The defining moment of the trial revolved around the jurors believing, the defining moment of the trial revolved around the jurors believing Constand was a holistic person with a welcoming family, something that would have been refuted if Robert Russell were able to testify to his past with the family. When asked if he believed Constand would lie to please his mother, Russell told us absolutely. She would do anything to please her mother. Because Russell, he said that they used to smoke weed together. He said they used to smoke weed. He said he even smoked weed with the mama. And he said one thing that he knew about Andrea is he said Andrea is not going to take any pills without knowing what it is. He said, now that's just something that she wouldn't do. He don't believe at all that she would just get some pills. The bill say, take these, and she just pop them. And then just next thing you know, she all looped. You're like, what is wrong? What? He said, no, that's not her. Like she would never do that. But he definitely feels like her mother is the mastermind behind this whole thing. And I believe that she is too. I definitely believe that the mother was the mastermind. I'm trying to make sure I have all of my stuff together, because there's something else I'm supposed to be telling y'all. And then I wanted to go over this whole NBC thing. NBC. So NBC thing. So was Bill Cosby trying to buy NBC? I'm trying to wrap this up in one day, people. Uno day. What's Bill Cosby trying to buy NBC? What time is it? 7:30. I'm going on 2 hours. Going on 2 hours. Let me see. Do I want to finish this today? Let me see. Do I want to finish this today? I don't know, because doing the rest of this, getting into the whole NBC thing and the rest of the thing with the lawyers and stuff, it could take me about another hour. So I'm thinking that I may want to finish this tomorrow. But the NBC thing is pretty dang on interesting, people. It really is. Tomorrow. But oh my God, that's loud. Yeah, absolutely, Valerie. She did violate it because those were sealed documents. And if I'm not mistaken, the documents wasn't unsealed until maybe like sometime in 2016. So if in 2015, 2014, you talking to people about this case and you doing, I mean, like, she wasn't supposed to be, we're talking about sealed cases. She wasn't technically supposed to be doing that. So yeah, she was supposed to be quiet about that and keep that whole thing a secret. I think I'm gonna do part 2 tomorrow because now I'm getting hot. Girl, I mean, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a lot of work. I've been very, very interested in this whole Bill Cosby thing, just because, like, I would much rather find out the information myself. Now, I know everybody in today's time, they're using receipts. You better get your receipts, get them receipts, but receipts is not my word. That ain't my word. My word is research. Geneva does research. I don't know nothing about the receipts. I'm not buying anything. And I'm not showing you proof that I bought anything. I'm doing research. Geneva has researched, Google search, been on a laptop and the phone and printing stuff out and highlighting. Yeah, I know. I heard that he tried to buy it 2 times. But the funny thing is that I've heard people say that even though he tried to buy NBC, that he wasn't going to be able to purchase it. But that's a dang on lie. That is a lie. Bill Cosby has some people working in his favors. He has some people willing to invest in his business. But get this, people, because this article comes back from 1992. They said Bill Cosby's net worth back in 1992 was $300 to $500 million. I didn't know that. I thought that was his current net worth. I didn't know that that's how much he was worth in 1992. People, do y'all know in 1992 they said the Bill Cosby show, the syndication, the money they were receiving for syndication was $1 billion a year. $1 billion a year. They said, based on my research, Bill Cosby has helped NBC out of messed up situations, whether it was bankruptcy or their ratings were falling, they were doing horrible, from 5 to 6 times. Let the record show 5 to 6 times he practically bailed them out. Bill Cosby had a love for NBC. He had a love for them because NBC put him on with his very first show, I Spy, which he ended up being the first Black person to be on a weekly sitcom or something like that. They put him on, and he felt like they had been there for him his entire career. Bill Cosby, I will repeat, had a love for NBC. He had a love for them. That's why when I was doing my research and I found out that NBC were some of the first ones to go to Andrea and her mama and get the exclusive interview, I said, oh no, are you kidding me? NBC ran to Andrea and her mama to get the exclusive. As a matter of fact, NBC ran to a few of them women accusers to get the exclusive. His people, he felt like they were like this, like they were Ace Boone Coons. They had been, been with this man, had been with them forever. The Cosby Show was on NBC, people. He had a new show coming to NBC and, some comedy special to Netflix. And when was this? In 2004, that was supposed to happen. So, they really, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna finish this tomorrow. I'm gonna finish this tomorrow, and because it's a lot. It's a lot. And then I'm gonna wrap this up tomorrow. And then after this, I hope that then you will be able to make your own conclusion about Bill Cosby and what you think about the women and everything else that he did, and did he really give the women the Quaaludes? And speaking of Quaaludes, I went and did a little research on the Quaaludes. Y'all know how I am. I got to research every dang on thing because I don't know, because some of these things I don't be knowing. So I said I got to figure this out for myself. So when I went and did some research on the Quaaludes, first of all, I seen this picture as if it was like a newspaper clipping, like the family sitting at the table with their orange juice and milk for breakfast time, and it's talking about the Quaaludes. Okay, so this is what it says. It says Quaaludes is a sedative drug that rose and that was popular during the early 1960s. Quaaludes were initially manufactured to be a sleep aid. It wasn't long that people, college students and teenagers, began using it as a recreational drug. This increase is attributed to the amount of prescriptions being written by Quaaludes to actual patients. And it said that in the early 1970s, the drug was deemed the most popular prescribed sedative in the United States, even as the United States and Britain were trying to curb their dispense. One of the popular applications were looting out. This is where the drug was used in combination of a healthy cup of wine. It was extremely popular with college students. In David Bowie's Time song, he mentions red wine and Quaaludes. Okay, and then remember, I told y'all that Andrea said that Bill Cosby gave her, I think she said 3 blue pills. And then when I looked up Quaaludes, for the most part, they're white. Just white, they're white. Now, don't get me wrong. I seen some pictures of some blue pills, but it wasn't that many. I mean, for the most part, when I looked up Quaaludes and I went to Google Images, mostly all the pills I seen was white. So these 3 blue pills that she's talking about, I don't even know what she's talking about. I have the slightest idea, because all of these pills, all of these Quaaludes were, they look white. And then, just like I said in my other video, now that I'm reading this, and then it's saying that it was a popular drug for kids, there's the Most High said there's nothing new under the sun. Because don't we have the same thing with the oxycodone and the, what are some other pain pills that they give? Y'all know all them different pain pills that they give you, and a doctor, and people are using those for recreational drugs. And then, like I said earlier, then we got the Molly, and then we got the Percocet. I don't even know if that's the same thing or if that's 2 different things. Then we got the X pills. I don't even know if X is Molly. I don't even know if that's something different. But people are taking these for recreational drugs. They're popping it. Like some people don't drink. They just pop. I know people who don't drink, but they pop them pills. And like I said in my other video, they use them for sex. I've heard many people talk about X pills and Molly pills for sexual purposes. They say that the sex is better. I don't know. I'm telling you what they said. They said the sex is better. So maybe Bill Cosby felt the same thing about the Quaaludes. Maybe the women back then did too, because they acting like they didn't know. These women from 1976. That's why none of their cases were able to stand up. That's why they were not able to be in the lawsuit with Andrea. Because, woman, you talking about something from 1970? Really? Really? That you done went all the way back, and you were 19. That was 40 some years ago. Lady, you're like damn near 60, if not 60. And you gonna come out and say that he raped me. And let me tell you this. Bill Cosby PR person, what is her name? Let me get her name. Her name is Ebony. Her name, I put it somewhere. Ebony said that they were running ads on, have you been molested or have you been raped by Bill Cosby? I was like, they ran ads. She said it was no different than you looking at an ad on TV and they're like, don't you know, like that baby powder ad? Have you been using this baby powder? Well, you know, if you have, you can sue because you can have cancer and call 943 because this is probably possibly happened to you. And you be like, you know what? I have used that baby powder. I probably have. I think there's some could be wrong with me. It could possibly be something wrong with my vaginal area. Let me call that number and see could I get in on that lawsuit right quick. She said that's what Bill Cosby PR person said that's what they were doing. She said to the point that a woman even admitted that she had seen it. And she was like, you know what? I think Bill Cosby did rape me. I think that actually did happen. I probably had forgot. But now that they done, I think that did. Did y'all know that NBC, that's why I want to read to y'all tomorrow about this whole NBC, and we're going to talk about Bill Cosby's son being killed too, because that may be part of this whole thing. Did y'all know, Bill Cosby PR people said, that NBC flew out all of Bill Cosby accusers, not only flew them out and talked to them, but gave them money and gave them all a black car. They were picked up in black, nice. You know how you picked up in a nice black car? All the women, this is what NBC did. Bill Cosby's people, I bet you they didn't tell us that. Now, they were telling us about the Quaaludes. Wasn't they telling us about the Quaaludes? That Bill Cosby admitted that he gave the women the Quaaludes because he wanted to give young women Quaaludes for sex. They kept just putting that in our face. He said it, he said it, he said it, he said it. And because I guess he said that, that meant that he said that he raped Andrea and all the women too. But they didn't tell us, what NBC was doing with the women. That NBC was picking up the women, gave the women money, flew the women out. They were trying to literally bring Cosby. They did what they had planned on doing. The judge was on it. The attorney was on it. They trying to push other attorneys out. This thing was some pretty sneaky, shicey stuff going on, people. That's why we're going to get into it more tomorrow, because we got to talk about Bill Cosby's son. We have to. And do you know Bill Cosby's daughter died? When did she die? I think she died, was it this year or last year? I can't remember because I have to look back at my papers. This year or last year, his daughter died because she needed a kidney. I mean, so, like he actually has been going through some things. He's been going through some things. Now, I will say this before I get off of here. Bill Cosby did not say that he did not know those women. So you're not going to hear me say that. I am not going to tell you that the 13 women, Bill Cosby did not say he didn't have any interaction with, because he did say he had interaction. Don't you remember they said it was like 30 or 60 women or something like that? I'm not going to tell you that Bill Cosby didn't have any interaction with them women, because he did. Okay. He did all the women he did. But I'm not going to say he had sex with all those women. Having an interaction with them don't mean that he necessarily has sex with them. Maybe some of them he has sex with. Maybe some was oral. Maybe some was filling. Maybe some was just a conversation he just met up with. But what Bill Cosby did not deny was that he didn't know these women. And that's what he could have did. He could have easily been like, I don't know these women. I ain't never slept with that woman. I mean, like, you heard me when I was reading the thing about the night. Every woman that they talked to him about, he didn't deny. He didn't say, I didn't do it. But if you told him, but if you said that y'all had this certain type of sex or this, he could be like, that didn't happen. I didn't give her no amaretto. No, I didn't, like he basically like, don't put words in my mouth. I'll tell you what I did, but you're not going to put words in my mouth. So yeah, I'm not going to say that Bill Cosby was with the, he loved the ladies, but I ain't got nothing to do with that. That's between him and his wife. Him and his wife. Do I think his wife knew? How could you not know? All the women he slept with? I'm not saying you knew about all of them, but she had to have known that he had cheated at some point in time. That those were the things that were going on. So I don't know, but we'll get more into it tomorrow, people. We'll get more into it tomorrow. Let me see if anyone has anything to say. I'm starving. Oh my goodness, I'm starving. I'm so starving. Oh, and another story that I got for y'all. And let me tell you why it is important for me to hurry up and get done with this Bill Cosby thing. Because even though I want to tell you about it, because I want you to know. But do you know what else I'm very, very interested in? And when I started doing my research, I was like, woo, I got to tell my people about this. I got to tell y'all, don't you remember when Monique was snapping? Don't you remember all that snapping and stuff that Monique was doing? She was snapping on Oprah and Tyler Perry. Don't you remember that? She was very upset. And what was everybody doing? Everybody was kind of taking Oprah and Tyler, sad, like, why is she going after them? Don't you remember her whole thing with Lee Daniel, the whole Precious thing? And I forgot the guy's name who produced Girls Trip and that other movie that she was in, Best Christmas or something about the Christmas. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Whatever. There's a whole story behind that, people. There is a whole story, and I want to do the breakdown of that story for you all. I want you to understand just a little bit better where Monique was coming from, because she was coming from somewhere. Because why would she just get so upset about that? And everybody, because I felt like people were treating her just like how people do Essie. People just feel like Essie just be talking and she just be going on and they know what they talking about. You may not understand it, but if you take a minute and pause and really listen to what they're saying, you may realize that they're actually speaking some truths, and you might want to look into it a little bit. And after I started doing my research and stuff, I was like, okay, there's a story. There is a story with Bill. There's a story with Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Monique, and old boy that produced that Girls Trip movie. There's definitely a story, and I want to tell y'all about that. But then I want to break down the whole Oprah and Tyler Perry's relationship. Don't we want to know about their relationship? Because they seem like they ace boon coons. I wanted to know about their relationship, personal and business wise. I was very interested in that. And when I started digging deep into that, I was, like I said, people, I was like, that's some tea. I gotta let my people know. So as soon as I get done with this Bill Cosby thing tomorrow, I will definitely be back to let you know about that story, because I think y'all are going to be interested in that, people. You'll be interested in that. Yisrael said the only thing Bill Cosby is guilty of is cheating on his wife. I agree with you. I agree with you 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. That's why I said I can't deny that. I can't say that the man wasn't cheating. He definitely was getting his cheat on. But to me, it's really no different than a lot of men in the celebrity world. And then paying off women. I wasn't shocked when I seen he was paying off. This man got $300 to $500 million in 1992. If you had $300 to $500 million and you done got yourself in a certain situation, I'm pretty sure you would pay somebody off too. And $3 to $5 million to get somebody to go sit down, $3.4 million to go get somebody to sit down somewhere and leave you alone and seal them documents seem perfectly fine. Let me have my lawyers. I'm gonna have them wire through the money or this. I mean, because Bill Cosby has paid off a few women. He has paid a few women, and Bill Cosby pays for educations. I think he's very slick with that. I think he's very slick. I think that he be concerned about that. Bill Cosby is slick. He'll say some stuff like, you know what? Because I'm concerned about her. But and this is a woman he done slept with already. Oh, okay, so what do you want to do with your life? You want to go to school? Okay, so what school you want to go to? Okay, well, how about this? I will pay for your schooling under one condition, that you keep straight A's and B's. You done slept with the woman, but he was an old gigolo. He was tricking off. That's the best word for it. He was tricking off. He was definitely getting his trick on. And have y'all seen his house? I was trying to figure out what the hell was Camille, his wife, at? Was she on one side of the house and he was on the other side? The reason why he was sneaking Andrea in through the back door, so that just makes you think maybe Camille was home, but their house so big, she on that wing and he over there, and he know how his wife is already. He already know that she don't never come to this part of the house. because she knows that he's most likely in his office or down in the basement working. So she don't never come over there. Like, was it that type of thing? Because where in the world was Camille at when all this was going on? But yes, definitely, definitely. He was definitely getting his cheat on. He was definitely tricking off. He was paying women and stuff. But raping people, I don't think he was raping people. I think these women were all, I think it's a conspiracy, Illuminati, conspiracy, all of that great stuff. It was all of that. But anyway, oh, you know what? You know what? He do got a lot of properties. I think I'm talking about the one in Cheltenham, the Cheltenham estate. I know I'm not saying that right. I know somebody gonna be like, that ain't even how you say it. But that estate, that's the one I'm talking about. Because that's the one that Andrea was talking about that she went to all the time, was that estate. Empress Lab said, "What is this? I thought this was about influencer marketing." Well, Empress Labs, you must can't read because it ain't nothing up there that even begins with an E. Do I got anything up there that even begins with an E? So I don't even know an I or an M. I mean, I didn't say anything about marketing, so I don't know where you got that from. I think you meant to click on another video and you accidentally clicked on this one. We're not talking about marketing. But if you want to know about business, just go over to Geneva's Closet page. You know, go to friend request Geneva's Closet Tea, because I will be talking about business soon, because I done practically forgot about that. Well, I want to see what about all the other men that's been accused of rape. I know all the white men that's been accused of rape. Right, right. Let's see what's going to happen to them. I mean, probably nothing too much. I mean, they like targeted Bill Cosby. They wanted Bill Cosby. And a lot of people were saying, I'm pretty sure that y'all heard it too, they had a lot to do with him buying NBC. I heard that he was trying to buy what is it called? Denver Broncos or something with a Bronco in it. Like I'm not good with sports team that's written down somewhere, but he was trying to um, buy the Denver Broncos or something like that. And then we know that his son was killed, I think like 5 years after he even tried to initially buy NBC. And then when he did try to NBC, they basically tried to play him like they didn't believe him. They didn't think he was serious. Why do you not think that this man is a businessman? Bill Cosby went in very first job with I Spy and renegotiated his contract. He didn't need to wait to his second and third job in the business to do it. No, Bill Cosby was on I Spy and he was working alongside the white man. That was his co-star. Bill Cosby, seeing how hugely the show was doing, and that, oh boy, the co-star was making way more money than he was. Bill Cosby had his lawyers go in there and renegotiate his contract so he can get paid more money. This is a businessman, all day business. I mean, like, what, I mean, all the degrees and stuff that this man got, and they was trying to play that. I don't even know if I fully believe that they thought that he couldn't do it. I just think that they did not want him to buy it, period. So how they put it in the tabloids was that they wasn't taking him seriously, that it was a joke. It's like a comedic joke. It's just playing. No one is really taking him serious. And yeah, they basically treated him, and now he's sitting in jail. Girl, you remember I Spy? I remember like this much of I Spy, probably about this much, not that much. But we remember the Cosby Show though. And I do remember, what is his cartoon that Bill, something Bill. Y'all know the cartoon of the little black boy with the big head and stuff, that little cute little black cartoon. Right, that's his cartoon too. Yeah, the Quaaludes were coming from his doctor. Now, let me read you something about the doctor. I'm happy you said that because I also went and did a little research on that. This is the doctor that had been prescribing Bill Cosby. Little Bill, that's it. Thank you, Alicia. That's it right there, his cartoon. Because I had forgot all about that until I was doing my research. I was like, you know what? That is true. He sure did. He sure did. And Fat Albert. Oh, we love Fat Albert. Don't we love Fat Albert? All the shows and the things that this man did, all the things that he did. Okay, now let me read to you about the Quaaludes. And I have to remember to say Quaaludes because I be saying Quaaludes, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It said when Bill Cosby needed Quaaludes to give to women he hoped to have sex with, he knew a doctor to turn to, Leroy Amar, a Hollywood prescriber of the pills that became a popular recreational drug among celebrities and other glitzy party people in the 1970s. Cosby's access to Quaaludes called disco biscuits. Did y'all know it was called disco biscuits? Well, I didn't know that because, I was born in 78, so I don't know. Was called disco biscuits in those days and known to induce disorientation and euphoria, has drawn new attention after surfacing of a 10-year deposition from a closed sexual case, right? We already know that. Okay. Did he know when he gave you, now this is what somebody was asking Bill Cosby about his doctor. Did he know when he gave you those prescriptions that you had no intention of taking them? A lawyer asked Cosby in 2005 deposition. Yes, the entertainer replied. Did you believe at the time that it was illegal for you to dispense those drugs? Yes, Cosby answered. That's why I said this man is too damn honest. he's too honest. He said, yeah, my doctor knew it wasn't for me. He knew I wasn't going to take it. And did you believe at the time that you was getting the drugs that it was illegal? Yeah, basically, I knew that when I was gonna give them to people, it was illegal. But for Amar, the doctor, who earned his medical degree from Harvard University in 1963, providing pills under questionable circumstances and skirting the law were not unusual. Whether he practiced in California, New York, or at a string of clinics in Maryland, he was constantly in trouble with medical authorities and periodically lost his license. Disciplinary records from those states reveal the wrongdoing of a dangerous doctor who kept moving to stay in business. A doctor said, I would not doubt in a minute that Amar would sign a prescription to give anybody anything they wanted. That's just the way he was. A former Washington era lawyer said he was unscrupulous. It says Amar, who also practiced plastic surgery badly, they got that too. Amar, who practiced plastic surgery badly, died in 2002 at the age of 71. In the 1970s, Cosby and Amar moved in the same Hollywood social circles. In his deposition, Cosby said the doctor had an ownership stake in Club Bayou, a private social club in Los Angeles that Cosby visited. So Cosby knew this doctor. That's who gave him the medicine. But the doctor passed away in 2002 at the age of 71. And based on reports, he was giving everybody pills. Whoever wanted pills, you can get you some pills. Come over here, come on, people, which is no different than what's going on today. That's how come they're doing this whole, what are they doing with the whole pill, the whole opioid or opiate, whatever, the whole drug issue. They're making sure that doctors stop prescribing these opioid, or why I can't get my words together. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The dang on pills that help you, and then you end up turning to a drug addict because you end up scratching and stuff because it's like taking heroin. Because them pills are not really good, like they supposed to be pain pills, but people have to not even take a lot of those because you can get addicted. And next thing you know, because it's like heroin. I think it's like damn near heroin in those pills. Opioids, opiate, whatever. I'm so sick of it. I'm done. I don't even want to say the words no more. Whatever. Thank you, Alicia and all y'all for helping me say this word that I can't say. I wish I can hear y'all say it, because it would be really nice if y'all can say it. It sure is, Michelle. Said Becky is on them. Sure is. Thank you, Lisa, girl. I'm all over the place right now, probably because I'm partially tired. But people, I will be back tomorrow about the same bad time, same bad channel. Matter of fact, I might come on a little early. I don't even know if I want to come. Oh, Oys. Thank you. Oh, look at Nova. Thank you, Nova. She broke it down for me. Opioids. Thank you. Oh my God. You see do you see how the people are? These people will help you. I mean, because I be needing y'all. I need y'all to help me to remember things. I need y'all to help me with these words and these names. Sometimes I'll be off. Look, people, I'm trying. Perfect. I'm trying. But that's why, I have y'all here to help me out because we're good together. Us people as a unit, we are good together as a unit. Me and you and me. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you. We're good together as a unit. That's basically what I'm saying. I need you, people. I need you. So just make sure you're here again tomorrow. And don't even ask me what time. I think I may be on at the same time, but I don't know. I mean, like, is y'all on earlier? Can I get on earlier? Do I have to be on at that time? Do I have to come on at 6? I don't want to come on at 6. That's too late my time. My sister be hungry. This is my time. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. By the time 6 comes, I want to man my own life. I want to live my own life at that time. Thank you. We teamwork. Ain't nothing but a little teamwork. Yes, Rael said that. He said teamwork. We're all working together as a team. That's what Black people do. We come together. We unify and stuff. Montgomery County was the distribution hub. Okay, I'm done. Anyway, people, you have a fabulous evening. I hope you sleep well tonight. This is my wish for you. I hope that when you get off this phone or laptop, I hope that you get off and you're happy. I hope your next move, whatever your next move is within the next 10, 15, 20 seconds, I hope it's pleasing to you. I hope that you get off and you don't argue with nobody. No one pisses you off, make you mad. Go sit down and watch TV. Go read a book or something. Look at some interesting things on YouTube. You know what I mean? And I hope tonight when you get ready to go to sleep, I hope you sleep well. Oh, my God. I hope the bed is comfortable. I hope the blanket ain't never felt better. I hope that pillow is super soft. I hope as soon as your head hit that pillow, you get the best sleep you have ever had. And can you do something for me, people? Can you have that same prayer for me? Because I sleep horrible that night. I'm up all through the night. Every hour I'm up. Can y'all pray for me? That's basically what I'm trying. I'm trying to give you a prayer so you can give one back. Work with me, people. Work with me. But anyway, people, I love you. I'll talk to you later. You have a fabulous evening. Where am I at? I'm trying to get off of here. Bye.